Well, hi guys. You'll never believe what I did now. But those of you that know me won't be too surprised. Back behind me, sitting in the sink, right over there, you can kind of see the tag of one of them. I have two 22-pound turkeys. What am I going to do with two 22-pound turkeys? Well, let me tell you. I'm going to preface this by saying we rarely go to Walmart. I'm just not a fan of Walmart. I try to shop small local businesses, but we happen to be in a community that had a Walmart, and I wanted to see if they had turkeys on sale. Well, sure enough. So their before sale was $1.48 a pound. I had paid $1.71 a pound for a turkey before Thanksgiving, and these were on sale for 48 cents a pound. Right there's the tag. 22.86 pounds at 48 cents a pound, that's $10.97. I have no room in my freezer, so guess what? I'm gonna can this turkey. You might see me do quite a bit of struggling, but let's just get with it and get that turkey cut up, because I'm gonna do raw pack, and what I have left over, I will make bone broth. And what else? Turkey soup. Okay, let's get started. Oh, guess what? As I was sitting here talking to you, I was fiddling with the tag. Here's the before price. I paid $10.97, and before they put them on sale, it was $33.83. Wow. Let me say that again. Wow. $34 for a turkey. No wonder people said Thanksgiving was going to be a lot more expensive this year. Okay guys, I've kind of got started on my turkey. I haven't started cutting it, but I wanted to let you know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to bring the camera down. For those of you who have never even made a turkey, which in my opinion, it's one of the easiest things there is to do. You get a lot of meat and pretty simple. But in this case, I'm not going to be roasting this turkey or frying it or all of that. I'm actually going to be cutting it down so that I can the meat. I want to show you, for those of you who've never done a turkey, what you're going to find when you buy a whole turkey. Okay, I've already taken him apart. And to let you know, I've got a stock pot here that I'm going to be putting the things that I'm going to be cooking down for the broth and soups and stuff. But inside, the turkey will come cleaned out. But I took the plastic piece, this piece right here, goes in here, and they bring the tail up and tie the legs together. And I've already pulled that out. There's also a button, a pop-up button that they say you use to tell when the turkey's done. Yeah, I never use it. And I've already cut the tail off. This is the tail. And I'm cooking it down to get what little bit of meat there is on it and for the flavor. There's also usually, some have more than others, a little bit of the fat stays in that they leave connected, because turkeys and chickens do have quite a bit of fat. I mean, I just pulled this piece off. But it's going in here into my stock pot. All right, inside the cavity of the turkey, they put the turkey neck. And you'll find it in here. And sometimes you have to work pretty hard to get it out. I'm also going to cook the turkey neck for the broth. So that's what you're going to find inside the cavity. Up in the neck cavity, when they cut the neck off, they leave a lot of skin up here, because for people like me, I make my dressing inside the turkey, and I fill the big cavity, and I also fill the neck cavity and bring that down. But inside the neck, you'll find a bag. And inside this bag is what they call the giblets. And it's the heart. That's a turkey heart. Chickens have this too. Here's the liver. And then they have the gizzard. The gizzard's what processes the grain inside the animal. And this is a really tough piece of meat, but it's considered a delicacy. This has a lot of fat in it. So I'm gonna put it in there and cook it too. I'm probably going to cook, I usually give the dogs the heart and the liver. Some people will make giblet gravy. I've heard some call it giblet, but giblets, and that's basically just the usable part inside. And they will use that, cook that meat up, and then in some water, boil it, and then use that meat to make their dressing and chop up the giblets. I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and then we'll come back and I'll talk more about the turkey. Okay, I have watched videos on how to break down a turkey. Guys, I'm not that talented, but I am gonna take the skin off. The skin will also go in the pot to cook with the broth. There's a lot of flavor there. And the fat on turkeys, chicken, on any of the birds is just under the skin. You find fat in the cavity and under the skin. So you get a lot of flavor from that. So I'm going to remove as much skin as I can. I'm not going to can my chicken with the skin on. Right next to me, I've got a roasting pot, a big roaster here, and that's what I'm going to put the meat. My knife is not very sharp. You don't need to sit and watch me get all the skin off of here. So I think what I'm going to do next is go ahead and cut off one of the legs and thigh. And I'm just going to go down the skin here, kind of like cutting up a chicken. Much larger version. I got one thigh and leg cut off, and then I thought I'd kind of remember now, I don't cut up turkeys very often, but do a little tutorial the way I do it, sloppy. But I am going to go ahead and cut the wing off. When cutting up a chicken or a bird, basically you just follow the joints. So when I did my, I took the thigh and the leg off all in one piece, and I just took it, cut it at the thigh joint, right where it met onto the bird. And I've got it soaking over there in a pot of cold water. I'll get back to it when I get this. I'm trying to get the turkey down to a more manageable size. He's a pretty big old boy. Chopping that bad boy up, aren't I? I'll try to get as much meat off the wing as I can. But the rest is going to go in the pot. There's just not that much meat on a wing. Got him butchered up pretty bad, don't I? Did I mention I'm not very good at cutting up a turkey? There, I broke the joint. Now I got to get down in there and just cut it loose. Butchered it. But there's the wing. It's going over there in that pan of cold water. I'm going to come over on the other side and do the same thing. I'm going to remove the thigh and leg and the wing. Phew. I finally got this all cut up in more manageable pieces. And I think I've got most of the meat cut off of the wings. So the majority of the wings is in the soup pot. And these are the back pieces. I don't expect to get much meat off of them, but I'll take all the meat off of them, put them over in the meat pot. And then I think I'm gonna work on this breast and get it all cleaned up and as much meat off of it as I can. So I'll come back when I get more meat put over there. And don't forget, we got another whole turkey to do. Okay, one turkey down and one more to go. And it didn't go as fast as it appears on this video. I know for you it's just a second. Yeah, I didn't time it, but these big birds are kind of hard to work with, a lot harder than cutting up a chicken. So I ended up with this pot. That pot is all the meat from one chicken. I've got the other stew pot with the bones and the meat I couldn't get off and those other parts that I told you. But I want to show you what a turkey looks like when you first open it from the package. And I haven't removed anything, so let's take a look. I explained it to you, but I just thought maybe you might be interested in seeing, so you don't buy a turkey and stick it straight in the oven. You got to get it ready a little bit. Okay, I've taken all the packaging off, and I'm going to open up, pull that flap of skin back up at the neck cavity, and this is where you'll find a bag. This one happens to be kind of a paper bag. Sometimes they're plastic, but in the first chicken I showed you what was in it, the heart, the gizzard, and the liver. And today's the dog's lucky day. That's what he's gonna get. Okay, right here is that pop-up button that pops up when it's done. I've never used it, and you can just pull it out. This is all it looks like. That's going to the trash. And then the internal cavity, here's that plastic piece I was telling you about that hold the tail. It holds the legs together and pulls the tail up. Now, this still has a little bit of ice inside, but to get it out, you really kind of have to work all that. And I may have to run water in here. Yeah, I am. This has still got ice around the neck. And this piece is rather difficult to get off, to get out of there. I've never been able just to pull it out. I really have to work it, and I'll show you in a little bit. Let me go rinse this out and get that ice out so we can get the neck out. Okay, I kind of had to really open up the cavity and spread the legs out to be able to get in there. But you reach up in there, and when you pull it out, there was some of the turkey fat, so that's going in for the stew pot. And the neck, they'll usually bend it over and then slip it up in there. That's going in the stew pot. And here's the tail. It's connected to the plastic, but as you can see, the tail's pretty good size. If I can get in there and cut it, no, that cut off really easy. So that too is going over in the stew pot. Now here's this piece of plastic I was telling you. And it can be a little difficult to get out because these two pieces are wedged in there to hold everything in. I've got it all cleaned out, Both cavities are cleaned out. So now I'm going to start cutting it up. And like I said, I've seen many videos on people that do it, and they're a whole lot better than me. But I'll come back after I've got this one all cut up, and we'll get ready to start working on canning the turkey and making the bone broth in the soup. Just got my hands washed, and remember, here's something I wanted to show you. This is not bad meat. This is a bruise that probably happened when they processed the turkey. So it's just, you know, like when we get a bruise. But all I'm going to do is just cut this piece out, and I'm going to throw it out. It's not going in the soup pot. The meat smells good. It doesn't smell bad. So that's how I know that this is a bruise. I'll just cut it out and dispose of it. Okay, I've got the turkeys all cut up. I've got my big roaster pan full of meat in cold water, and a pot, one of my big pots, it's full of turkey meat also in cold water. Those will be put in my winter refrigerator, which is right outside my back door. And I just put a big heavy brick on the lid, and I've been doing it for years, and it does get very cold, so the meat's not going to go bad. So I've filled both of these big pots here. As you can see, they're both pretty good size pots that I have. And then I dawned on me, I didn't show you what I was doing. So I put in a handful of parsley from my garden and a handful of salt into each one. And now I have cut up, normally I have what I call my kitchen trash, or scraps of onions and any vegetable peels, garlic, celery tops, all of that. I normally have a bag of that in my freezer, but I've already used it. So I've cut up some onion, and you don't have to slice them, you don't have to peel them. And looks like I must have put 2.5 or 3 onions halves in here. I've got, happen to have some ginger, so I'll just throw in a little slice of ginger. And I'm going to put in celery. Again, well, celery, you just make sure you wash your vegetables. And I've got a bunch of, I don't peel any of this, but this is my garlic, and all I did was cut it in half. And it's going to go in each pot. And then I chunked up some carrots. So we'll split those between the pots. This is going to simmer. It's actually 5:30 in the evening, and I'm going to let this simmer until about 9:30 or 10. Then I'll put it out in my winter refrigerator and start back on it again in the morning, because I'm going to want it to simmer a couple of days to make sure that I get all the nutrients out of those bones. Now I've got some sage from my garden, and I'm going to take some of those. You know, I measure accurately. And some rosemary. Got a little oxygen absorber in there. Small handful of that. Some marjoram. Basically, whatever spices sound good is what I put in. Small handful. I'm going to guess that when I say a small handful, it's about a tablespoon, give or take. Here's some thyme. some basil. And for good measure, I'm going to put 1 bay leaf in each one. And then I'm just going to let those simmer and let all those flavors come together. Now I'll be watching this, and tomorrow I'm going to let it simmer, like I said, for 4 or 5 hours this evening. And then in the morning when I bring it in, I'm going to check it. I'll probably do a little taste test and see what I think. But then it will go back on the burners and simmer tomorrow and possibly the next day. My stove burners are going to be full canning turkey. So that's it for tonight. This is the starting of me canning 2 22-pound or almost 23 pounds. So let's call it 45 pounds of turkey. I'll try to get this uploaded tonight, and then tomorrow we'll start on canning turkey. Okay, see you then. Thanks for watching.